Before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu became president, many Nigerians made it known that the man was a chronic tax collector, that the man was pragmatic when it comes to tax collection. However, he went ahead and gave him their mandate. Few months down the line, the president has begun his move to collect tax from Nigerians. Nigerians are now saying, no, this was not how we planned it. This was not what you told us. We are facing pains. We are facing hardship. So the president is saying, no, we must collect your tax. We must collect our tax. You must pay your tax. Even Northerners are crying out to say, no, this tax reform is nowhere with us. The president is saying, no, I must collect the tax.
How should President Tinubu fast-track the implementation of his renewed hope agenda and speed up the process of kickstarting Nigeria's stalled economic engine? Well, according to Senator Ali Ndume, who represents Borno South in the National Assembly, the president should start by taking further aim at his recently reshuffled cabinet, which led to the sacking of 6 ministers. Senator Ndume is asking Mr. Tinubu to sack more ministers because, according to him, many of them are grossly underperforming. And after this bit of house cleaning, he suggests that the next step is for Mr. Tinubu to urgently convene a national economic summit to seek homegrown solutions to Nigeria's economic crunch. He recommends that the summit be driven by the likes of the former Minister of Finance, now Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the former Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mansour Mukhtar, and Obi Ezekwesili, Nigeria's former Minister of Education, as well as, among others, Akinwumi Adesina, President of the African Development Bank. So, is anyone listening? Senator Ali Ndume, who represents Borno South in the National Assembly. Thank you very much indeed. Good to see you
again.
I was going to say, the last time you sat here, it generated a lot of focus.
Last time I sat here, after sitting here, I was sacked.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
I mean, you're still a senator.
Yeah.
And a very respected one at that. So that's a very positive thing. The politics may be different, but you appear to have the respect of a lot of Nigerian people. So let's focus on what we're here to talk about, which is how to speed up President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. You appear to have confidence in that renewed hope as a theory.
Yeah.
The implementation is where you have issues. You called for Mr. Tinubu to sack more ministers who you say are underperforming. Who are the underperforming ministers that you'd like to sack?
Well, I don't want you to put me on spot. What I'm saying is that he has made a quite significant move expected by Nigerians, but it's not quite enough. It should be a continuous process, and it should also be an expanded process. What I mean with that is that I don't know how they arrive at the number sacked already or relieved of their post, but in those days, the people that the ministers represent, because constitutionally you have one minister from each state. And in this government, more ministers are being nominated. In fact, we had the highest number. The president himself recognized the need to reduce cost of governance. And that means or calls for inward look into the number too. Because what the Constitution says is that the minimum is 37, 1 per state, and then one additional one. The president needs to, at this time, look inwards to see whether we can just pull down the number. But now he relieved some and brought in new ones. The number is still up there.
Right.
So this is something, so it's not matter of, it's not a personal thing. It's just maybe my own opinion, and that may make sense and contribute towards good governance.
Well, it certainly makes sense to a lot of Nigerians.
Yeah, and not only that, the cost of governance should be brought, because if you look at all...
Being brought down.
Yes,
Yeah.
all other agencies of government are doing the same. You know, the focus for now is maybe on the presidency and the National Assembly, but it should be across board. There are some organizations that are not visible, but the cost implication of running those agencies is enormous.
Right, absolutely. So you recommend pruning
Yes.
the system.
And reducing
Right.
the cost of governance. This is not the first time I've been crying out. If you look at the budget, the recurrent expenditure keeps going up, and the rate of employment is going down. So it doesn't balance. Now that the president is looking around, I think he should look deep into it and reduce the cost of governance across the board.
I think that's a very important call, because a lot of people across this country feel that way, that the cost of governance is much too high.
Yeah.
And it needs to be reined in. You've also called for the urgent convening of a national economic summit, according to you, driven by the likes of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Mansa Mukhtar, Akinwumi Adesina, Obi Ezekwesili, Aruma Ote, etc. And you've suggested that they be allowed to come up with recommendations on how to right Nigeria's listing economic ship instead of letting the IMF and the World Bank do it. I mean, groups that you say offer prescriptions that are too harsh and sometimes lack the understanding of the system, of the way things are in this country. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, you know, you remember last time, the National Economic Group or so,
The NESG,
NESG,
the National Economic Summit.
had groups, had a summit here. I think it was in Hilton or somewhere.
Yeah.
And many Nigerians listened to the vice president, is it, of the IMF. He came and gave out one harsh prescription that the removal of subsidy is movement in the right direction, and that Nigerians should stay on that.
I think it might have been the World Bank.
World Bank, and that the result of that will start manifesting after 15 years. I said, come on. And I went around to find out who is this guy talking anyway. And there you are with Nigerian professors, economic professors that are renowned worldwide, sitting down to listen to somebody. It's just like you, Charles. I am a lecturer. I lectured for 20 years in Ramat Polytechnic. I'm not a specialist. My knowledge of economics is not deep, but I have common sense and basic economy.
And you're a lawmaker.
Yeah. But assuming like me at 64, and I'm diagnosed, God forbid, of cancer, and the doctor comes to tell me, okay, take this prescription, in the next 15 years you'll be okay, I would tell him to get out of that place. That is what the IMF is trying to drive us. When we have the Okonjo-Iwealas, we have the this guy in the World Bank, we have Mansour, we have so many people.
Yeah, but the
president, wait.
Yeah.
The president should, as a matter of urgency, now, organize a national economic summit. We don't need any foreigner for that.
Yeah, but don't you think he's making the point based on the fact that Nigeria's problems are sedimented? You know, like a sedimented rock?
Yes.
There are different layers that are so deep
Yes.
that for you to put in place root and branch reforms, it's not something you can wave a magic
Yeah, no,
wand.
the reforms doesn't need...
It'll just be a surface
you don't
thing.
need
You
foreign...
need a long period
Wait
of time
now.
to do it.
No, Charles, you don't need foreigners for foreign for reforms if you have experts at your backyard or at your beck and call. In fact, some of these people have already volunteered. Like I had Okonjo-Iweala one time. She's ready to come and talk to Nigerians. And I was highly impressed when she was invited to a Southeast Governors Forum. And she was talking and sense and not a kind of imported or foreign, but talking to Nigerians as a Nigerian to solve Nigerian problem.
But you are aware that a lot of the people that you mention, I mean, Okonjo-Iweala, Mansour Mukhtar, Obieze Kwesili, and all the rest of them, I mean, a lot of them were all schooled in the World Bank. I mean, they worked there. You know, Mansour Mukhtar was executive director.
But they are not in wait, now.
Let me just make the point quickly. I mean, they worked there for many years and are used to prescribing tough belt-tightening measures for different countries around the world.
Yeah, now you put that word,
Yeah.
wait, for different countries.
Yeah.
So if you give Igbo man or a European a prescription, it may not work for an African. Now malaria can kill an European, but malaria here, even day before yesterday, I was, they took my blood. I have permanently 1X malaria. If it's a Oyubo man, or you call him a white man, he will be hospitalized. And now try it. If you want Nigerian to be strong enough from a childhood, you feed him gari, pounded yam, and if you do that for a Oyubo man, he will die.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is this: it's a bit like you went to school, you went and learned certain things. There are economic theories that you learn, even though you can,
that work in Europe,
you can try and adapt them to a Nigerian system.
Yeah.
But these people, I mean, I'm trying to understand why you think their prescription will be not so much, I mean, they may like adjust it to suit Nigerian systems, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be less harsh.
No, it's going to be. It's going to be definitely. The prescription that Okonjo-Iweala and co will give Nigerians will be definitely be less harsh and workable.
Because you see the problem.
Wait now.
Sure.
She knows. She's from here. She knows what is the problem. She knows what is to be done. She knows. I mean, they know because they are Nigerians. They know what needs to be done in the Nigerian situation. But when you bring an Indian...
Well, they didn't bring somebody. They just brought somebody to deliver a speech. I mean, they didn't say, like, right, you're now in charge of the Nigerian economy, did they?
Well, anyway, Nigerians are not happy with that prescription. They don't want to even take it, and we don't have to force it down their throat.
Well, no, absolutely. But, I mean, some would argue that the biggest problem in this country that needs to be urgently addressed is the politicians in Nigeria.
I think so, but you can go ahead. I'm here. No, but let me tell you a problem. This problem that we have in this country is self-inflicted.
Yeah, I agree.
We look at it deeply, and the World Bank and the IMF have hands in it. They don't need to be here for us. My fear is that they are deliberately driving us towards Venezuela.
Right. Okay.
We don't need to get there.
No.
We need a diversion.
We certainly don't want to become a Venezuela or a Somalia or something.
No, Somalia is, but Venezuela, has the world's largest oil reserve with less population I think it's, 30-something million people. And yet, even now, people are dying.
Yeah, but it wasn't the IMF that did that, or the World Bank that did that.
It was part of it.
To them.
And we are coming to that.
It's their political, the way that they fell out with the political, first of all, their own internal politics, and then
but that internal politics
and then the Western sort of
Thank
American
you. Now we are
system.
saying, when we allow ourselves to be managed by somebody that doesn't know the environment or the condition we are operating, then you are getting it wrong.
Okay, well, let's move on from that, because I wanted to talk to you about this proposed tax change in Nigeria, the proposed tax change, which might lead to an increase in revenue and which may actually help the federal government manage taxes better, but it has been rejected by northern governors. Why is that?
It's simple. And Charles, I'm here to talk to you as a politician, as somebody talking just from basic common sense. This tax they are talking about, we are almost losing the middle class in Nigeria. It's either you have it or you don't have it. Those that are in the middle are being squeezed out. If Nigerians can pay for those taxes, it's okay. But in the current situation, increasing tax is not an alternative at all. I will not support any increase in any tax.
Yeah, but there were a lot of opt-out clauses in that tax reform bill.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
Let us get things right first. Let people start living, not surviving. Let people have extra income. Then you tax them.
Well,
but
I mean...
wait now.
Yeah, sorry. Go on.
That's why I say I want to always use an example of common sense.
Right.
Looking at you, Charles, you can donate a kind of...
You're always using me as an example.
Yeah, because you're the one I'm looking at straight. Looking at you and your position now, I can easily ask you to bring 1 pint of blood in order to save somebody that
Yes,
needs
I
it.
suppose so.
But if you go look at the guy sitting there, if you take a pint of blood from him...
You think he might keel over and die?
He will collapse, And that's what they're trying to do to Nigerians now. Allow Nigerians to have enough blood in their body before you start asking for donation for blood.
And is that the socio-economic situation? Because they're particularizing it to the north.
No, it's not even.
I mean,
they
sounded suspicious.
No, it's not
the
issue.
Whole sort of
no,
thing.
I think that's wrong. Where the poverty is in the north.
Right.
Let's be frank about that. So you want to introduce taxes again? And I mean, tax those people that can afford it. And let me give you it. Those that can afford the taxes in Nigeria, I don't want to be particular about it, are not even paying the taxes.
Yeah.
But these big companies, they don't even declare their income, not to talk of getting an appropriate tax to them.
Right. But you are from the north.
Yes.
You're in the National Assembly.
Yeah.
Are you one of those, because it's a proposed tax bill.
Yeah.
Are you one of those pushing back against that tax bill?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're clearly not going to support it.
No, I'm not going to support it. In fact, I'm going to start campaigning for it against the increase in tax for now, because it doesn't only affect the northerners, but it affects an average Nigerian.
Right.
And I'm not saying that people should not pay tax, but you shouldn't go and tax people that are barely
It has to be fair,
to
is your
survive.
assessment. Right.
Somebody is trying to, you are paying somebody
70,000 naira
as a minimum wage. All of a sudden, the price of fuel again went up to 1,000. It means if you put the arithmetic together, it's like, wow, if it would have been better, you allow me to continue, you continue paying me 30,000 and let the cost of a liter of petroleum be 100. So it's like giving you in one hand and taking it with the other.
Right.
Taxing, let the tax authorities concentrate on those that are supposed to pay taxes. Like now, I give you an example. In Abuja, if you go around, there are a lot of properties in there that are not paying tax. And fortunately, these days, you have Wike who stands up and tries to do something about it. But people are not paying property taxes. And these banks, for example, are making tons and tons of money, and they're not paying tax. And they are collecting tax for everywhere. If you transfer money, they collect money for you. If you post money, they collect money for you. And they declare profits. Go and check their taxes. Now you want to squeeze somebody who is barely trying to survive. Well, because there are many.
Right. The argument, so that we can move on from this, the argument
Are you supporting the tax increase?
No. I don't take positions on things like that. But I mean, the argument is that you need to increase the tax base.
Yeah.
Bring more people into it. People have to be registered and locked into that tax thing. And then you can get tax returns. If you're not eligible, or you overpay taxes, or money is taken, so you can claim it back. I mean, that's the way it's done in many countries around the world. But the important thing is for the government to have a record of the tax base, the potential tax base in this country.
You start from somewhere that is accessible and acceptable. I, at one time, proposed a bill for communication service tax. It didn't see the light of the day. It means now I'm handling 2 telephones. And there are some people out there that cannot afford a telephone. But if you can buy a phone, then you can pay tax associated with it. These are kind of the taxes that I would say, why not?
Well, that means that everybody, because most people own phones.
No, anybody that, look, Charles, you're talking about Abuja here. Still, many people don't even have access to phone.
Right, okay. Well, let me move on from
or
that.
Or even cannot afford it.
I understand that.
And anybody that can afford a phone, I mean, should be able to pay a tax.
Some measure of tax.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on from that, because the Governors Forum also reacted very strongly against the blackout which has hit the northern region. What's it been like up there? Because you're just coming from the north, aren't you?
It's not an issue of the north. The southeast, Anambra particularly, I remember, witnessed a thing, I think.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this specific case now.
But now, this is the worst ever in the history of this country.
Right.
Where I think about 14 states are in blackout now.
That's in the north?
In the north.
Right.
Coincidentally. And that's why I called even before. I think it was a BBC interview. And I said, look, under this circumstance, this is a national disaster. And whoever is responsible for that should have created a situation room to brief Nigerians step by step on what's going on. It is not the president that is supposed to do that. Somebody is supposed to be there.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, the cause
but
of...
now, wait. Nobody is even talking about, until recently, what happened, why it happened, what will be done, when it will be overcome. I mean, you don't do this. It's not fair.
Well, I mean, they say that the cause of the blackout is vandalization. And I wonder, because I mean the governors have come up, they'll be very angry about it, but some have raised the question whether the governors themselves are not partly responsible, in the sense that they have to protect the power
No,
networks.
that's not their responsibility.
Well, they have to protect,
no.
Facilities in their state.
If it is within the locality.
They're the chief security officers
in the locality. But when it comes to transmission from point A to B, I mean, especially when most of these things have been privatized.
No, but there's vandalization taking place within their states. You see what I mean?
Well, I am not exonerating the governors, but this, as I say, is a collective responsibility to stop the vandalization. And the question is even, The power sector has been there for over 50 years, ever, I can remember, in most cases. You know. There haven't been incidents like this. It's because there's failure in terms of Section 14.2 of our Constitution, which defines the purpose of government. Security and welfare of citizens is the purpose of government.
But I mean, the National Assembly has oversight functions.
Yes, that is another issue.
Are you oversighting those, I mean, ministries and departments and so on? I mean, because you should be putting fire to their feet.
It's not easy. Some of us are doing it, and I can agree or accept the fact that the level of the oversight and even responsibility is going down.
Whilst the money that you're being paid is going up.
Yeah, there you come again. I don't want to talk. You promised me that we're not going to talk about money.
No. I'm saying that if you are given charge of doing something in a country and you're paid to do it, then the attendant responsibility that comes with that payment, one expects you to carry it out.
Yeah, and let me tell you, the environment for doing that is even not there anymore.
How do you mean?
In those days, when you write an organization that you are coming for oversight, or even before you go for oversight, you write the organization to give you answers to simple questions on the amounts appropriated in the budget and the level of performance. Some of them don't even reply. The House of Representatives last time threatened to issue a warrant. I'm bringing you
have
to
those
that.
powers.
Yeah, but it doesn't work anymore. You know why? Because even the selection process has been bastardized. In those days, when I was in the National Assembly, in fact, when I was even in the Senate, if you are appointed by the president, if you are nominated to be a minister, you have to get a signature from 2 of your senators. If they don't, you are gone. You won't even enter the chambers for the nomination process. But today, I don't even know some of the ministers. Last time I traveled with somebody and he said, Oga, it seems you didn't recognize it. I said, sorry, he said he's a minister. I said, wow. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, but whose fault is that?
I don't know.
I mean, isn't that partly your fault? I mean, if the president...
Charles, I came here because of you and you promised not to gag me,
No, I'm not gagging.
Not to interrogate me.
I actually find it fascinating talking with
you. In fact, you say we are not going to have an interview, we are going to have a discussion.
But that's what we're having. We're having a nice chat.
You are now interrogating me and you are gagging me.
No, I'm not gagging you. Nobody can gag you. I mean, you're one who is able to. In fact, one of the if I might say, one of the challenges your colleagues believe that you have is that no one can gag you. I mean, that's really it. And talking about gagging, now that you've made the mistake of bringing that up, I mean, you've had sort of bitter fights and political duels with members of your party and your colleagues in the Senate over what they see as your outspoken nature. To some extent, they see you as a sort of controversial figure. Are you now less inclined to speak out because of a fear of possible sanctions against it? Because I know you. I just wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't believe that you wouldn't speak out because you're afraid there are going to be sanctions.
No, it's only that I didn't come here. Even if yesterday I issued an interview.
Yeah.
Last week I did. And my friends are saying, "Oh, please, don't say it." I say, if there's nothing to talk about,
they said, "Don't say it."
I would not. But I'm 64. I thank God for what I am. I'm a son of nobody who became somebody without knowing anybody. I have to be grateful to God. And you see in the Bible, I know a little bit about Bible. And in the Quran it says, speak the truth even if you avoid sex. And that's what my grandfather told me, my father told me, my mother, all of them are late. They say, speak the truth. And I'm mindful also. It is only in that your interview, I think I used two strong words, but I cannot find an alternate to it. I was just describing the combination. And, you know, before I know, I was crucified, removed from the Senate chief whip, and, you know, and I was removed from the committee. That's the first time I've ever seen such a thing. Even if I had committed treasonable offense, you just don't take me to the gaoler and shoot me or hang me. No, you take me to court. And then the verdict. But the party didn't do that. And they called me later on and we spoke. They said, we used a strong word. I said, okay, I'm sorry. What else would I say? You know, this is it. After that, people thought that I'll go down and sit down and keep quiet. I went to my constituency to visit my farmers. I encouraged them. The governor helped us to resettle 11 villages, and we encouraged them to go to back to farm. And the military provided them what they call picketing. And they would escort the farmers in the morning and bring them back in the evening. Then when the harvest has started maturing and there is time for harvest, the Boko Haram goes in the night to steal. So now the people have to go and guard their farm produce in the night. And in the process of that, Boko Haram killed 8 people at a go.
Terrible.
So I went there, and what is the problem? The Nigerian army in Woshe, particularly that village, which is a battalion, don't have even one MRAP. But here in just about 20 kilometers away where the Cameroonians are, they have a platoon there, that is 80 or 30 soldiers, and they have 4 MRAPs. So I have to speak out.
Right. No, absolutely. And I think the Nigerian people are grateful to you for speaking out. I want to thank you very much indeed, Senator, for taking the time to come and talk to us. It's always an absolute joy having
You didn't talk
here.
about dollarization.
No, because we spent a lot of time talking about it yesterday. But what that means is that you have to come back again.
No. What I'm saying is...
And let's fix another time. But I really have to go because I've got somebody else waiting to come in.
Yeah, because he has a very important topic too.
He does. He absolutely does.
People are not talking about this good move that the president is doing about the joining the BRICS. In fact,
we talked about it on this program yesterday.
You did.
We talked about the fact that Nigeria has joined the BRICS, but I really have to go.
And I must tell you here again that I really don't want to come back here again until next year because I don't know.
Well, that hurts me. You need to come back.
You must have me in the Senate first. Before...
No, but you are in the Senate. Anyway, Look, I want to thank you. It's been I told you it was going to be a nice conversation.
This is currently ongoing. However, an aide of the president has noted that, look, the president is considering all Nigerians in his tax reforms. He's considering and putting into consideration the plight of the Nigerian people in his tax reforms. Ali Ndume, in the same vein, is saying that the president should tax those who have the capacity to pay tax and not to spread tax across the nation as a thing of necessity. Ali Ndume is arguing that the president should consider the common man, that he should cease to inflict pain on the common man. It is no longer news that Nigerians are undergoing hardship. It is no longer news also that Nigerians are currently undergoing shaggy in the hands of this administration, going by the malnourished policies and programs of this administration. Recall that things were not this way under Buhari. Hence, many Nigerians have claimed that they are seriously missing Buhari as their president. Should we not beg Buhari to come back? No, we are not begging him. Stand on the mandate you help to bring on board.